Well, look at this.
We have speed.
We have speed. Of course, we got speed. We got. We got. It's usually
I just remember that old term.
What term?
The old term from video production when I used to be on set for a video shoot. Whoever was running tape op, when they'd hit record and the tape had been running for a few seconds, they'd say speed. That was the giving the okay for the director to say action.
Oh,
anyway.
So you're finding speed. A little bit. Yeah, you're finding about Chad's porn past back when he used to.
My old fluffer days.
Yeah, we used to. Your pizza here, action. So anyway, we find ourselves in a new year. Shall we slap a new number, or shall we let them guess from here on out?
Yeah. No, I'll tell them. It's number 203. 203.
Hey, and it's 23. It's the year 2023. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody, merry, happy, joyous, prosperous, massive, wonderful new year to you all. We are absolutely thrilled to still be on this side of the planet. You know, it's already started off on a bang for us. We left it in pretty good shape at Continental Club, which will hopefully have some clips for you. A Pogues Tribute night.
Yeah, oh, you will.
I'm looking around here and I'm going to say, nobody needs to make any New Year's resolution. This is the most perfect bunch of people we've ever seen. Nicely done. Sexy too, if I might say so. Let's hear it again for young David Mendoza on the accordion. Let me tell you a story. We were at a place called the New Potato. I don't know if you know this, but the owner's from Ballybrack. It's from the real nice side of town, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Real rich. Bono lives there. Who's Bono? Anyway, we were at a place called the New Potato. We ran into this young fella. Anyway, we got talking, and the first thing we started talking about was the Pogues. And so I want to thank our good friend Paul Redmond. Here's Paul. Hey, doing, Paul? Ballybrack, Mahon Fire. He was outside counting his money. He's from Ballybrack. Anyway. All right, boys and girls. So big hand for David Mendoza. Come on.
I hadn't sent it to you yet, but I cut out a clip of the Soundcheck to aid Luba in soundchecking the mandolin he was going to play towards the end of the first half of the set.
Oh, yeah.
The end of the show, actually. You got on the mic and he asked you to sing or talk or something, and you started off talking just nonsense words, and then you started making up a song.
She's got dirty knickers out there on my face. Oh, she's got a dirty man. I don't want it to go to waste. No, she's a dirty whore, dirty slag. Want some more, baby? That's my bad story.
You've probably already heard it.
I didn't know you were recording, and that was okay, yes.
It's the kind of thing that just comes out of you. the stuff that you make up and then you immediately forget about it. So I'm not surprised you don't remember.
Yeah. So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, pets, when you sound check as many times as we do, night in and night out, typically you're going to hear a sound guy going 1, 2, check 1, 2, and the check is important.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah. 2, 1, 2, 7, 1, 2, chicken, 1, 2, vagina, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, Mike Large, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 6, 9. He sees Mike Large, 6, 9. 2023, the year of the 6, 9. Jumbo jet, chicken, person, man, camera, TV, blowjob. Oh, fuck, I'll come in again. Who? Hoo-ha. He said it well. Hoo-ha. 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 That's about as much fun as I've ever had on the microphone. Thank you, Lou.
Because all these different alliterations and sounds and noises and clicks and hisses, and there's even a program, or a part of the EQ called the de-esser, when somebody is when somebody is very eloquent, like a Stephen Colbert, when somebody can speak for hours on end and not miss a vowel, as just every single little intricacy of every word is just beautifully presented. Somebody that's just trained in speech. Chad, you've got a great speaking voice, radio voice. So when you have that a person, when you have that alliteration, you have that presentation of these, where you just want to make sure that there's nothing that's going to set the mic off or set. So speaking of mic and microphones, we had a young Mike McAloon at our show on last year, long time ago. And that's going to be a funny joke for a while. Last year, yeah, let's do that for a while. Anyway, so Mike was at the show, didn't tell us he's coming, and didn't ask on the guest list or anything like that. He's son of a bitch. Anyway, so Mike McAloon shows up, and Mike's drum kit, his wonderful SJC drum kit, his hi-hat had this fucking squeal on it, and it was just a squeak, not audible. Typically, you couldn't really hear it, but it would drive the PA crazy. So it was just this one frequency. I want to say it was like a high mid that would just make that PA squeal, and it was just and so when you hear check 1 2 1 2, every single part of that is necessary to get your PA to get your sound right. And Luba Dvorak, who is just not only a just incredible musician, but he's one of these sound guys that if you have him in your corner, you can actually take the night off performance wise. He's that brilliant. He can make anything sound good. Yeah. I had the best mix of my vocals in my in-ear monitors that night. It was unnerving to the fact where I hadn't heard it like that I don't know if I've ever heard it that well, not even in a studio. And it was shocking to me to hear it as clear as that.
He knows, as we talked about before, he knows that to put the EQ flat through through those things, because you really don't need any additional EQ, especially when we're running direct instruments too. So, but
we're not here to talk technical jargon today. We are here because it is for us. It's the first day of the new year. For you, hopefully, it's the second. Chad and I were talking with Turbo and Heidi over the last couple of days, and we would like to direct you also to the last podcast if you haven't seen it. We kind of wrapped up the year and made goals and stuff like that for next year. Just this year has been 22 was I loved it. It's steadily ticking up with the addition of Turbo. It's been like I would imagine what an orgy of motivational speakers would be like. It's
you're right.
It's just kind of like I don't know. It's just there's so much positivity and there's so much energy put and everybody pushing in the same direction. And would you like a moment, Chad?
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining the dialogue.
So yeah, I know. It really is. It's a sad state of affairs in here, ladies. You're lucky you guys are getting the filtered version, because I really do. I stop myself from that. So, what would a motivational orgy be called? A gangbang wouldn't be,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And now my head's gone to this. Doug Stanhope has this great bit. It was running on his Facebook page. But he said, I blew a speaker in my car. It was a motivational speaker, so I feel pretty good about
it. Yes, that's right.
So anyway. All right. Can we come in again? Can we start again? This is awful. So going back to the unit that now, we were speaking about Mike a second ago, and Mike is, easily one of the most positive guys you're going to meet. Always up for it. Always try anything. Even last minute. I can't tell you the amount of shows where we've driven to the show and I said, hey, on this song, we're going to change it to this, this, and this, and we're going to do, I just spur of the moment thing, and Chad, yep, Mike, yep, and we just did it. And a lot of times it flew, a lot of times it failed, but it was, even if it failed 3 times in a row, 4 times in a row, there was never even a second of doubt for trying the next one. And that's what we have now as 4-piece with Heidi, with Turbo, and Chad's been consistent, of course, the whole time. But this, not that it's always my thing. It's not. It's definitely not. And it's always 4 people pushing in the same direction and everybody going. So this past year has been eye-opening, and I guess the compatibility and the flow that's been created in this has been just jaw-droppingly brilliant in as quickly as it appears, and then as fast as we can mold it and put it out. So I'm just excited. Yeah. I said to somebody at the show last time, I said, I just can't wait to show, to play what Blaggards come up with this year, because it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, man, I was so happy to see Mike there. He surprised us. Like I saw him before you did, because Lori came up to me in the middle of between songs at one point, and I couldn't hear her, obviously, because we have our ears in. So Lori comes up to the side of the stage and she's like gesturing, blah 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 blah, something over there, and she points, and all I can see is our friend Rigger, whom I already knew he was there. And I was like, what? Who, Rigger? Oh yeah, I'm waving at him. But then Mike all of a sudden just sort of materializes out of the darkness and walks up. And I realized I couldn't see him because he was dressed in black and standing against that black wall that buttresses the bar there at the Continental Club. Yeah, and then you noticed he was there a bit later when we're in the middle of Broad Black Brimmer. And I noticed because you saw him and you went, what?
Yeah, and Tara had requested Broad Black Brimmer. She just loves the new version of it.
The arrangement.
And so she had requested, and I always put all those Rebel songs with Mike. Mike's family name is from Donegal, and all those families from Scotland, and they are Rebel song. Enthusiast is just probably the lightest, fluffiest term, but they know, and Mike knows every song. That was initially our introduction to Mike, was the Wolf Tones, Dubliners, all this stuff, and he's like, okay, so we were kind of amazed at his his musical catalog, and Mike's also one of those guys, that just retains everything for 10 years back, and that's always at the ready, and 15 years and 20 years back, now it's there. He's quite, everybody listening to this probably knows Mike, and you obviously know what I'm talking about. So, but back to the Continental Club, Matt, everybody that drove in from such, great distances to be there. I'm floored, absolutely floored. It was, and of course we can't say enough about David Mendoza, just doing such a killer job on the accordion, and everybody, all 4 of us, really worked this stuff to make it as authentic as we could.
On the first day of March, it was raining. It was raining worse than anything that I had ever seen. Now stick to the other side of the road, because you'll never tell. We're a drunken bunch of devils, we're the boys we only hell. And it's never 10 hours, I'll buy you a drink. I'm following me, you're right in the morning. And it's never 10 hours, I'll buy you a drink. I'm following me, you're right in the morning.
Yeah, and back to the vocal thing, I had tried to do a little bit more Shane MacGowan in my delivery, but my voice in my ears, it made it very strange. Now, the only way I can describe it is it was so clear that it felt like I was trying too hard. If I veered off the stuff that I'd rehearsed for the show was different than what I delivered that night, because it was the clearest I've ever heard. And also Luba changed out my microphone right before we went on. And it was a club. Oh yeah. Yeah, and I don't know the model, but it was an A.K.A. mic, and the Sennheiser mic was the one that we used.
That's right.
We used in the house. Yeah, but he has switched it, and I'm seriously thinking about getting one, because it was quite. It was unnerving, and it was. I just hadn't heard, because I keep, now that we're not using. So kids, again, apologies, for talking so much technical crap, but just in brief, if I can, we used to have these 1,000-watt. Essentially 1,000-watt speakers on the floor pointing up at us, so you can hear what's going on, and you've got guitar amps behind you, which is essentially another 1,000 watts or whatever behind you, it feels like. And then you got drums, many more watts of noise coming at you, and then you got the room, so you got all this stuff coming at you, and that's just you. Then the bass guy, he's got his monitor screaming at him, his bass rig screaming, who's ever on the fiddle or whatever other, they've got a amplified monitor coming back at them. So you got all this noise on the stage. Well, now with our in-ear system, it's just in here, and you're taking all that noise off the stage. No amplifiers. I know we've talked about that a million times, but then when you get used to the in-ear systems, you have this volume that's way down. It's a whole new world, and it's a world of, you're still trying to deliver a wonderful show. When you have all that stage noise, it's so easy to throw up to put a big performance on, because you're essentially carried by this ruckus, this massive amount of volume that's just there. And with the ears now, you have to still give the same performance, but now you're dealing with such a low level of sound, and it's truly, I think. People like Pete Townsend and, just all, Nick McBrain, all these people that have dealt with power all their lives. I think that I think it would have changed so much if they had this available to them, back in the 60s, and see, because, you see the performances of the Beatles, back at Shea Stadium, how the hell did they hear anything? How in the hell did, over that crowd? And anyway, so just a remarkable end to the seat, and meeting everybody's families and stuff like that. David brought his family out, and Turbo brought his crew out, and the only thing that the only thing that would have made that show 100% perfect would have been having Heidi in there on fiddle. I just think that I know for a fact that it would have just been lights out.
Yeah, as I said, I put up a New Year's thank you post to everybody late last night, and that's why I added that. So there's no better way to close out the year, except, well, of course, would have been better if the only factor was Heidi not being there. But we will do the Pogues thing again multiple times. But we would also like to have David come play with us, even when we're not doing, a big Pogues thing, because it was just so much fun playing with him, and he makes his stuff sound great.
And let me pose a question to our Slapper faithful. If anybody's listened to Blagmatic, if you have heard any of our stuff, what song would you, and I know which one I would have, but I'm asking if you would do us a favor and, obviously hit subscribe, which I know you've done already.
We do have a podcast now. I want to let you know we got a podcast. We got 3 subscribers. If we get 4 tonight, Chad's going to shag this shit out of it. All right.
I'd like to ask you, what song on Blagmatic do you think David Mendoza on accordion would sound best on? I already have my song picked out, and if you would like to tell us what song that you would like to hear accordion on, because we are going to redo a couple of those songs, which we're just really happy with the way that we're doing them now versus as we recorded them. So
I'd like to put in my vote for all of them.
Yeah,
there really isn't one that wouldn't benefit from that. And even the ones where you wouldn't think of it, I think would be really interesting to hear.
Yeah.
Too. The Second Worst Girlfriend, for example. There's no keys or anything like that on the track on the album, but I think it would be neat. It might give it there's sort of a slightly like Cajun feel having it on that song. Also,
there are no wrong answers.
Yeah. Also, Segway or Wagon Wheels, it's known on the record. that roller rink organ solo that Patrick Brennan played. That would be really neat to hear on accordion too.
Yeah.
Good, sir.
Many.
By the way, that solo, that was one of my favorite sessions. So did we do that same day when we sat there and Paul pieced together the solo from somewhere like 5 to 10 takes of the solo that Patrick had done when he was there? Or from Patrick Brennan, a brilliant keyboard player, also a bass player. I've heard good things about his bass playing. I've never heard him play bass.
That's his first instrument. Yeah,
that's right. It's interesting how many people there are like that. Like Beth Patterson too.
Yeah.
So he tracked keyboards on Spancel, Greenfields of France, which y'all haven't heard yet, and Segway. Was there another one? I'm trying to think. There was another one he played on. But on Segway, A.K.A. Wagon Wheel, he played the solo in the middle, and he ran, I want to say, at least 5 different run-throughs on it. And each solo was different. And each one we were shaking our heads going, God damn. Yeah.
Keep on.
Yes.
Very nice. Very cool. Do another one. Just, yeah. That's fucking cool. That's exactly Yes. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Paul, when we're mixing it, we took a bit from almost every single take of the solo and like Eddie Van Halen style and mixed it into took all the best parts of each take and put it into this one just massive fucking cool solo. That was a fun night.
Yes, indeed. Wow, I'm still kind of floating from that Pogues night. Always knew how much I love the Pogues and how much they've given Blaggards as far as just carte blanche to take any direction on any song and make it so, just make it. And so so that's why we know that we're going to do it again, and speaking to David Mendoza after the show, that was about as reassuring I mean, there was just no doubt that Pogues Tribute band must ride again in Houston. It's got to be. There's a thirst for it, but the songs like Fiesta, songs that just absolutely have to be played live. They sound great in a record, but live, nothing like it.
Yeah.
So and of course Bob Ruggiero as well. For getting that article out and starting that ball rolling. He's been so good to us the whole time. So thank you, Bob. Impressed.
Thanks, Bob. Yeah, he posted a couple of good pictures too on Twitter from the show. So
I didn't see any of that. Well, I guess I got to.
You didn't?
No, I haven't been.
Yeah,
I've unplugged for the last couple of days and just enjoying the hell out of the silence and the I don't know if you can hear it. There's a chainsaw in the background, but we haven't heard anything except birds for the last couple of days. It's been very nice.
Yeah, I was enjoying the ambience, so that started.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Actually, it's not a chainsaw. It's a dentist out here, but he works on 8-foot teeth and above. So he's really right. Yeah, so it's cannot wait to get the music going again. I was working this morning on another piece, and just I think it's all now Pogues inspired, because I have that curse of listening to something and then having to I have to go running in the completely opposite direction so I don't end up stealing or borrowing or influenced by torture.
Well, yeah. I think that's we kind of established that on both of the records, really, but especially this last one, that we can kind of get away with anything, as we always have. This family, there's no genre that's off limits.
No,
and there's not even any instrument that's off limits on these records either. Yeah, but I think it would be great, because I know that you've got some stuff that we'd worked on in the past that didn't make Blagmatic, that are definitely have a heavy Pogues flavor to it. And I know you got a lot of new stuff you're doing too, but I'm thinking of songs that we didn't finish from before.
Yeah,
that would be awesome to hear David playing on, for example.
I was just actually, I cheated there. I usually turn it off, but I had a panic attack about 2 days ago.
Yeah.
One of the biggest, is it a tick or is it, it must be a fear, it must be a phobia or something, but I can't hit record. I'll go into the studio and I'll play a riff and I'll say, oh, I kind of like that. Let me see if I can do some of the, kind of sing a couple of things over it and mess with it. But I won't hit fucking record. And I'll say, well, I'll remember it. Kids, you won't remember it. You'll get close.
No.
And the song that always comes back to me for that is, I think it's Another One Bites the Dust where they wrote it. No, I'll tell you what it was. It was Pressure.
Yeah, it was baseline and Pressure.
Yes, baseline for Pressure. Yes. And I was just thinking of cool bass lines that just that changed the world. There's two, but it was the Queen were working with Bowie and they came up with the thing and they went to the pub and they came back and they couldn't remember the line, but that song was born. And who knows, maybe it wouldn't have been as big. I guarantee it would have still been big, but maybe it wouldn't have been as big if they had a different line. Who knows? But that is the curse. That is what I'm cursed with. I cannot hit record. So what I've been doing is I've been putting it on my phone, and I don't like the phone. When I do a show, I turn the phone off. When when it's time for, when it's getting close to bedtime, I turn the phone off. Guess what? They're going to be dead when you wake up. They're going to be dead when you turn the phone on, or it's going to be burnt to the ground, or it's going to be whatever. Or if you've won the lottery, it's still going to be there in the So I don't need to have the phone. So it was everything I could to. This is a hell of a long fucking story for this piece of shit bit of information. But anyway, long story short, cut all that shit out. But I can't hit record. But when I started using my phone and just laying it on the table and playing the riff and singing something, the other day, something happened to where when I hit the program or the app on the phone to record, all these ads started coming up, and I thought I'd lost that app, and I guess it was just a bug on the phone. But I just checked right there to see if I could get it back, and everything was back there because there was a ton of songs. Oh, I know.
Good.
Yeah, Gary Holt from Exodus has talked about this before. He just goes into the just at the spur of the moment, he will come up, he'll think of a riff, sit down, play it, records it on his phone, keeps it. And I was like, well, it's good enough for Gary Holt, it's good enough for me. But I thought I'd lost that app. I thought that app was corrupted or whenever I'd lost it. And so I just checked right there, and everything's back. So all these songs. So So and
it reminds me, there was and I have this, I haven't listened to the whole soundcheck, but I recorded about 20 minutes of our soundcheck Friday night at the Continental Club. And there was one point where, because I remember this, and I was, I don't think anybody's want to sit through the whole 20 minutes of that. And Greg Fugate's going, I will. There's one point you hit like 3 chords in a row. It was this weird chromatic thing, like down like A, B flat, down, something like that. But you were just messing around, and I went, ooh, and I went, yes, I was recording it. I don't remember what it was now, but I'm going to go back and play that. Get that bit to you later, because it was like, that would be a really cool riff. It was some kind of chordy kind of riff. Yeah, that you just did, just like in this one of those fleeting things. Anyway,
well, we have that.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it really is, and it's luckily when we record these, when we set the board up and we record all this stuff, it's just great to have all this stuff. The hindrance is the time that it takes to go and seek out those moments, because it's hours and hours. And usually if it was tape, it would be 4 hours of tape, 5 hours of tape sometimes, because it's it's forever. So we're getting better about nailing, hitting record on that stuff, and having and it is great too, because we have those moments on stage too where we're able to go, oh, remember that. You kind of veer off in a section, or just it's just nice to be able to pinpoint and cut,
there's been a couple of things that I haven't really come to fruition yet, but there was one song that you made up on stage at T-Bone Tom's on a night that we were recording the show, and I cut it out and sent it to you, and you started developing it into a different idea. We've done it in rehearsal a few times. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But this was going way back. We kind of set it aside because we had other things we needed to focus on. But
yeah,
anyway.
I remember one of the bartenders at T-Bone Tom's asked me about that song because I think if memory serves,
sliding Dallas.
Exactly. And he said, "Man, I fucking love that song." So really, okay. Yeah, that song will live. And that riff came up again in another. Oh God, what was it? We were talking about. It was another SlapperCast episode, kids. It was another episode when we were talking about annoying songs, and I said, "Oh, I can write one." We were writing, just songs that were just really, really tedious. And sorry, Kelly Navarro, but Gin Blossoms comes to mind. And I said, "Yeah, so we need an exercise in that. We need to write a song." And actually, that riff came back up, but that chord progression came back up again in that thing because I wrote this really, really, really obnoxious, droning kind of country sounding thing. It was pretty foul. So see if I find that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and yeah, so we initially, and I speak for all of us, we didn't want to. Turbo's doing family stuff, Heidi's doing family stuff, everybody's, but we wanted to get this one out, and we initially talked about just coming on here and thanking everybody, and then, so this has turned into kind of a long-winded piece, so apologies, or you're welcome, depending on how your day's going for that, but we sincerely, we want to thank all our Patreon supporters, and we want to thank everybody that's come to a show, listened to us online, told a friend, whatever. We're truly grateful. This year is going to be, I'm so giddy about it. We're the song ideas, we knew how good Heidi was on the fiddle, and when we asked to hear some of her original compositions and ideas, and she was on the spot, and then the addition of Turbo, and he's dedicating so much time. His company, his day job is so time consuming, and it's so he's just built this wonderful company and his family life and all that stuff, and he's brilliant at putting everything in its place and not neglecting any section of it. And so he's dedicating, all this time and effort to this project. And, Chad's always, at the ready. As long as it's after the hour of 2 p.m., he's ready to go. But, so we can't wait to show you what we have in store for you this year. And I'm looking forward to festivals and getting back in the van and we're off to Phoenix next week, and we're going to get to play in Bisbee, Arizona, and
finally,
hopefully young Stanhope will be able to come out with the Chalies and the crew. If you have not done so, you must go and listen to his podcast. Just go to dougstanhope.com and just get lost in there. It's brilliant, and it's one of our favorite people. And hopefully, when he's going through hell right now, getting his house back together after the fire. But I don't want to bug him, but when we get him back on the show, it's going to be quite delightful. So
absolutely,
yeah, we're just
is that chainsaw. Is that chainsaw like marching around the lake, or what's going on?
It's actually not a chainsaw. It's a fucking leaf blower.
What?
It's a leaf blower.
Why do you need to blow leaves up there?
Yeah, I know.
I get it.
I know.
Just leave them.
There you go. I know. Leave them alone. I get it. Yeah, so anyway, all this to say, happiest New Year to every single one of you. We could not be more grateful, but we could, if we were feeling it, we could kill a song.
We could.
And we could resurrect a song. And
we could do that as well. And
I'll just kill the whole Pogues catalog after Shane left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did a whole record without him, didn't they?
Uh-huh.
which nobody ever talks about because it wasn't really a Pogues record.
Why would they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever actually heard it.
I own it. It's forgettable, and it's not worth. Yeah, and then it's such a great band and so much history, and some any of the documentaries will show that they really did have a great rapport. Shane has a great line. Well, of course, he always has a great line, and then he snorts it. Yeah, what his line was, he goes, "Yeah, we play better when we're sober, but it's no fun." So we don't, and it's just that's the Pogues, and brilliant. But and then the remaining members are brilliant. It's a brilliant band. Just like many bands, when you lose your singer, and your singer is such a character, and such a whole, we've talked about this a million times too. Freddie Mercury dies, don't fucking do Queen again. Don't do Queen. If you're, again, Kelly Navarro, sorry, but if you're Gin Blossoms or any of those fucking bands that I can't stand, yeah, go get a new singer. I don't care, and you're probably going to be as good, if not better. But when you've got a voice that's as distinct as Freddie, Elvis, Roy Orbison, Tom Petty, when you got that voice, don't fucking replace it with, the guy that had a hit with "I'll Wank Your Dog" for. There's no, you can't. It can't be done. Can't be done. Just I'll go to my grave on that. So Shane MacGowan.
Yeah,
I know people that can sound like him. There was a few. Anyway, so you don't replace him. What you do is you change the name, and then you go on. You do your band. ZZ Top. That they came out after Dusty died, and we saw the show. Thank you, Lord. And they were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant. But they have enough of a catalog to where they can still do the thing. And you got Billy Gibbons, got one. Frank Beard, hell yeah. I mean, and also, Dusty did sing some of the songs, but he didn't sing many of them. Yeah. So that they were able to kind of recover from that. And of course, they did. I heard, they didn't do this when we saw them, but they were putting up pre-recorded footage of Dusty singing a live show and playing along with it. I guess that first tour they did without him. Which is great. But they already had the perfect guy lined up to replace. Who was already there. He was their guitar tech. Westy's guitar.
Of course, we already talked about that. So that was a really fortuitous situation. For them to recover from that. Yeah, you don't replace
a voice like that, and a lyricist as well. I mean, a poet.
That's the other thing.
Epic proportion. You do not put somebody else in that seat and go on. So you change the name and you go on again. You could, and if you've got, if you have that faith in the band, then you can do it. But don't use the same name. Sorry, that's just me.
It's like being in a band with James Joyce or something. Like, well, James quit the band, so let's have Joe
bring
Cool
in Brett
come
Michaels.
up and
let's bring in Brett Michaels from Poison.
Yeah. You're done when that happens.
Couldn't agree
just start
more.
a new band, which is what they should have done. They should have just keep that band together.
Yeah,
like there was Bauhaus. Bauhaus lost Peter Murphy, quit the band, and so the bands didn't stay Bauhaus. They became Love and Rockets, and they had a really successful career after that because they didn't have to live up to Bauhaus. They kind of did their own thing.
Write it down, kids. Write it down.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
I would love to have seen any incarnation of David Bowie's band try to bring somebody else out and tour as it, that. I dare you.
Well, they did do, this was totally forgivable because it was just a bunch of old bandmates having fun. Tony Visconti and Woody Woodmansey from the original band that they had before the Spiders from Mars have been they did it several years in a row. I hope they still do it because I would love to see it someday. I mean, Tony Visconti on bass, another bass player who's just does everything. Anyway, they did the entirety of The Man Who Sold the World, which was the record that Tony played bass on, along with Woody and Mick Ronson. Mick Ronson unfortunately has passed away.
Yeah.
But they did have a friend of theirs come in to sing. Great singer, but he's not trying to imitate Bowie or dress like him or anything like that. So it's not this kind of awkward thing from the footage I've seen. It's just a bunch of really good musicians playing songs that they love. So that's the way it should be for that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, when you go out as Queen and you have, I can't even think of his name. I blocked it. But when you have that, and then those songs are not even close to what they sounded like, that's, anyway. So all that to say, I would, new music by Queen, Pantera, are touring right now without Vinny and Dime. No, sorry. I love Charlie Benante, not a Zach Wilde fan, although he's a great guitar player. Nobody plays Dime. Maybe Steve Vai, nobody else. But anyway, so
okay, so you killed. Is that what you're just killing the last Pogues record?
Yeah, and then I guess the one that's just been constantly on my mind. Young Tara Devlin, great friend of mine, she said that at the end of Recruiting Sergeant, it goes into Rocky Road to Dublin, but then it goes Galway Races, and that song. So the song in its entirety is a masterpiece. However, Galway Race, I'm just kicking myself that we have not had that song in our repertoire because A, I know it, B, why the fuck have we not put that in there? So that song needs to be, so the song is the Recruiting Sergeant melody, or the medley or whatever, but that song will be played by Blaggards this year, and especially at the Pogues show, that song is going to be done in its entirety. It's a masterpiece. But especially the Galway Races, I think it's kind of like playing under pressure and leaving the bass line out. It's that one. Why would you do that? So guilty, my fuck up. But that's the one. I would just urge you to go listen to that.
Yes, absolutely. That cool. All right.
So
I'm going to kill Auld Lang Syne. Because I'm very grateful that we haven't had to sing that song in a while, although I'm sure we will at some point again. But I mean, every version of the song, and the only reason I'm saying that is because it's one of these songs that everybody pretends to know the words to, but they don't. It's for all acquaintances be forgotten, never brought to mind. Throughout history, nobody knows what the fucking words are.
Yeah.
So I just think we should stop feeling obligated to sing that goofy song.
Yeah.
Just because it's New Year's. I don't even know how that started. Half the words don't even make any sense to modern listeners.
Yeah.
That's why nobody remembers the words.
That's a good kill.
They don't make any sense. Yeah. And I'm going to replace, this is one I've been sitting on for a while. I resurrected another song off the same record by Adrian Belew. The album's called Inner Revolution. He's got a song in there that I resurrected a few weeks ago, which was his tribute to Roy Orbison. It's a really great song called I Walk Alone. But on that same record, Adrian has a song called Big Blue Sun, which is very Beatlesque. Adrian's a huge Beatles fan, so he's got many of his songs have a very, very unabashed Beatles character to them. But this one, this was a record where he played all the instruments himself. He played the drums. He started off, Adrian was a drummer first before he was a guitar player, which is strange to think about. Kind of like Eddie Van Halen. I guess he didn't play all of them because he does have a string quartet on it. But it's just this great, just incredibly uplifting song. And every time I listen to it, it just makes me feel like $1 million. If you've never heard Adrian's solo stuff, that's a really good one to start with. And his solo material is very diverse. I mean, he runs the gamut from, Beatle-y stuff like this song, like Big Blue Sun, or like crazy, polyrhythmic King Crimson, complicated stuff too. And Frank Zappa influenced things. He's got Bowie influenced things. Yeah, really great stuff. He's a brilliant dude.
Yeah, a Big Blue Sun. The Smurfs also have a version of that, and and then his or maybe Big Belew Sun. He could do that too.
The Big Belew Sun, yeah.
Belew. Adrian Belew. Yeah, so very cool. I'm gonna check that out. But so for this 10-minute thank you video that's now turned into a monster 51 minute
hour long.
Yeah. But we just so so happy to have you all along for the ride, and we're looking forward to getting so I guess the next one that you're going to see is going to be in the van again. We're going to be westbound, heading out to Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to do Wednesday in San Angelo. We're going to do Friday and Saturday in Phoenix, Sunday in Bisbee, and then back home. And we're going to kick up the new year. Then we're going to start it off in Houston after that.
Actually, we're going to have one more show before we hit the road.
We are.
But yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes.
For next week. Yeah.
I'm already in next week because it's the new year. Yeah, I'm just way ahead.
I know. I'd forgotten that we have this next weekend off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can get a guest for this next show.
Okay.
To kind of fill the gap.
You know who we have on the hook right now is Mr. Bob Ruggiero from the Houston Press.
Mr. Bob, yeah.
And you talk about let me work on that. Yeah.
The stories that fellow has.
Yeah. What a gem, a Houston gem, ladies and gentlemen. So why don't you all take the rest of the day off? I don't care where you are or what you're doing. Just stop whatever you're doing. Go put your feet up and have yourself a nice big cup of coffee and just do nothing for the rest of the day except listening to early Pogues and Adrian Belew. You won't be disappointed.
There you go. That's right.
So thank you, everybody, and just so glad to have you along and see you all at the shows and talk to you online and whatnot. So just couldn't be happier. So thank you.
Indeed. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
We will see you next week.